from a business perspective, LeBron comes out and says, should have waited a week to send this. I actually 100% agree with that from a business perspective. Hi everybody, welcome back to the Newsroom. I am your host, Neil Winteregg, joined as always by Dr. Greg Winteregg, CEO, author, and our boss.
Overall smart guy.
Overall smart guy. He's surrounded by two yes men. So welcome to this edition of the Newsroom. We are going to jump into this here. As you probably saw from the description of the video, we want to talk about the NBA China fiasco, not from a political perspective or this, that, or the other thing, but really from a business perspective.
Because this is the business newsroom.
This is the business newsroom.
Yes.
And while everybody else is out there talking about what the salary cap's going to be like as a result of losing this deal, we want to talk about what the actual important things are about this deal.
Exactly.
And give a little bit of a different perspective. Now, to be honest, we don't know how long this video might be. This could be a longer one, a little bit more of a podcasty. This could be shorter, so you'll be able to tell right now how long it is. We don't know yet. As always, we are unscripted and just kind of roll along. So if this is your first time here, like the video, subscribe. We do 3 videos a week, all different sorts of business topics and things like that. And today we are here to talk about NBA China and the actual relationship that's going on. So, just to fill everybody in, because I know some people are going to watch this who probably don't know a whole lot or whatever.
Right.
So Hong Kong and China are actually 2 separate territories, I guess you would say. And now China, mainland China, is trying to influence policies and things that are going on in Hong Kong, particularly a particular law about extradition. So you could actually be extradited out of Hong Kong to China and fall under their governing body. Now,
and extradited means if you get trouble, you get arrested, you can get sent from that jail into
But what probably
China.
realistically is going to happen is that China would then have the ability to abduct anybody that they wanted to, because that is what their law system is like.
Right.
In China, you can be charged with any crime for any reason. You'll be taken away. Your parents, your family, your friends will not know how to reach you. You will never know what crimes you even committed, and you will disappear. And maybe be seen again, maybe not. So
and people in Hong Kong don't like that.
People in Hong Kong don't like that because right now they have a free state, they have a free state, they have a free society, they have TV, they have internet, they have Wi-Fi. It's not censored, whereas in China everything is censored. So there's been a lot of talk about the Hong Kong protesters that have been standing out there. Literally, some of them have been killed. They have to cover their faces because if it is found out who they are and this thing goes through, they will be extradited. Yep. They're putting their lives in their hands, and it's
very oppressive.
It's very oppressive. And the general manager of the Houston Rockets basketball team sent out a tweet that said, "Fight for freedom, stand with Hong Kong." Now, the timing of this tweet was not very good.
Questionable.
At the time, his team was actually in China, as well as several other teams. I know the Lakers were over there from Los Angeles, and I don't remember who all else. It's not.
But they were playing exhibition games.
They were playing exhibition games because the NBA has a deal with China. China actually really likes the NBA, particularly the Houston Rockets, because some years ago, there was a 7-foot-plus man named Yao Ming who came from China to the U.S. and became very famous and very successful, and was a bridge to opening up China to U.S. sports.
Yeah.
They actually will sanction the U.S. sports to be aired on TV because everything that gets aired on TV over there is actually basically run by the government.
Right.
This is one of those few things that actually is allowed. So the NBA and China have a deal. It is estimated that that deal is worth $5 billion to the NBA.
So it's been beneficial for everyone.
It has been beneficial
Good
for everyone.
PR for the Chinese
Yes.
government.
Yes.
Yep.
And one of the biggest investors is a company called Tencent. I believe it's called Tencent. They have their hands on all kinds of stuff. It's not just this. There's a whole lot of stuff going on. So when Daryl Morey sends out this tweet, it sparks.
It seemed pretty innocuous. Stand with Hong Kong.
Fight for freedom, stand with Hong Kong.
Yeah.
Fight for freedom, stand with Hong Kong. Now, China did not like that.
Yeah.
China actually wanted the NBA. They asked for Daryl Morey to be publicly fired and just basically gotten rid of. Now, the NBA is like, we can't do that. We have the First Amendment. So I actually do have, the NBA has been getting slaughtered on how they've been handling all this because of the politics and stuff like that.
Right.
So anyway, it has evolved. Then LeBron James threw his hat into the ring. This was a big deal because LeBron is the biggest name in the sport. He's worth over $450 million. He gets $35 million a year salary. He's the second highest paid player. And
I don't know how much he's getting in endorsements.
It's more than he makes way more endorsements per year than he does actually from his NBA salary. Right. Yeah, he has like a lifetime contract with.
But he's
Nike.
also come forward now as the leader of the NBA.
He has become.
I mean, nobody votes, but he has known.
He has thrown himself into the ring as being the social justice person.
Leader.
Yeah.
The voice.
He's
the voice.
He was there campaigning with Hillary Clinton in the primaries. He was there standing on the sidelines in the hoodies during the Trayvon Martin incidents and all that stuff. Now, I have no problem with any of this stuff.
Exactly.
Totally fine. He's a champion of Colin Kaepernick. They're both with Nike. Okay.
Freedom of speech. This is the U.S. of A.
Stupid stuff, right? Let's talk about this from a business perspective. Now, LeBron came out and said some words which are not very smart. He said...
Which he's free to say, by the way.
He is free to say, but this ties into some other stuff.
We're talking about the business.
Let's talk about the business side of things, okay? So he came out and said that Daryl Morey was misinformed about the China situation. These were words that came out of his mouth. Daryl Morey, again, being the guy who all he said was fight for freedom, stay with Hong Kong, okay? But it started this whole thing. Games were banned from being played in China. The players were there in China during the time, and
timing wasn't good.
Timing was not good.
Yep.
But LeBron came out and said, I believe he wasn't educated on the situation at hand, and he spoke, and so many people could have been harmed, not only financially, but physically, emotionally, and spiritually, James said, okay? Now, he said some other things about this, and it didn't go over very well. So then he came out again and said, my team in this league just went through a difficult week. I think people need to understand what a tweet or statement can do to others, and I believe nobody stopped and considered what would happen. Could have waited a week to send it. So, this is where, again, it gets interesting, right? From a business perspective, what LeBron is actually saying there is 100% correct. From a business perspective, you don't make a statement like that while we're in China, getting ready to kick off the NBA season in China. There's a week worth of fun and games and all sorts of stuff going on. LeBron is over there. LeBron is getting ready to release Space Jam 2, which will flop in the US, but is going to make him tons of money in China because he's like, you know, behind the production crew on it and all this stuff. So from a business perspective, LeBron comes out and says, should have waited a week to send this. I actually 100% agree with that from a business perspective. The thing that you have to ask Joe Morey is, why the heck did you decide right now to send that from a big picture perspective?
Well, and we've talked about this before, and I want to just jump in for a second. So I have said this before, if you watch some of our other videos, you have to keep politics out of business. Now, politics is a very passionate subject. Everybody, you know, you have your side and you have your beliefs, but then when you walk into your business and you make some sort of a political statement, in the United States, it's really pretty much 50-50. You know, Democrats, Republicans, there's some, but I mean, why make a statement that immediately alienates 50% of your customers? I mean, it's actually a good thing that the NBA is in a communist country, and it's good PR for them. It's good PR for us.
You could really look at it as if the NBA said, we want to get into China and bring something from America here and show people who we are. That would be great.
I think it's awesome.
But that's not why they're there.
No. So the political statement now was made, and honestly, my view is everything with the kneeling for the flag and all the other statements that are made in football and basketball, and I was like, I don't want to hear about it as a fan. I really don't. People go to an athletic contest for escape, for entertainment. And now I'm there and we're not going to play the national anthem. I'm 64. I've been going to athletic events since I was, you know, little. National anthem. Go to a NASCAR race, national anthem. So it's like now all of a sudden it's this big political statement. It's kind of like it just kind of takes the fun out of it. So
it's not why we go to the event.
It's not why we go to the event. And
let's be honest, LeBron, I could effing care less about who you voted for.
Right.
That's not why I watch you play basketball.
Right.
And the other thing is that when somebody told him to shut up and dribble last year, he went off the chain.
Oh, he went
And
crazy.
now what's he doing? He's shutting up and dribbling about this whole situation, right?
Well, and he comes right out now and says, oh, this has financial consequences.
That was the first thing he talked about.
That was the first word that he said. He said spiritual. He said emotional. But the first thing was like finances.
He told us where they're really there for and what they're really there to do. And this comes back to what we talked talk about is like, what is the purpose of an organization or a business? If your purpose is to entertain people with amazing sports and amazing basketball and give them a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity or an experience, you're failing right now.
Absolutely.
If that was the goal of the NBA, you failed.
Yeah, what you've done now is you've upset the fan base. You've created an international incident. All right,
and this is what. Yeah, keep going.
And then just with LeBron. So now, I guess what I have a problem with, he's applying a standard to Daryl Morey that he's never applied to himself.
Right.
I mean, it's just completely hypocritical.
Yeah.
You know, but now it appears to me like this is going to hit his pocketbook. And so now it's an issue.
Now it's an issue.
Now it's not okay.
That's right.
And so just to take all of this out, just politics needs to be out of business.
And this is where this all started with the Colin Kaepernick kneeling thing.
It did.
Okay. And this is, again, this isn't a political statement. Mm-hmm. I'm just speaking from my own thing. What the left of the political spectrum didn't understand about the Colin Kaepernick situation is that infused politics into a sport that had nothing to do with politics.
Exactly.
And as a fan, that's not why I'm here. And I stopped watching football during that period, not because I disagreed with it or whatever, right? But because that's not why I'm here.
That's right.
Okay, you want to make a social statement, you can do it offside, out of the field, off the field. You have Instagram. You have all sorts of social media these days to be able to say who you support outside field. And that is what the owners were really pissed off about with the Colin Kaepernick situation. Isn't because of what he's doing or what he's fighting for, but they understood that this is a business.
That's right.
And here's somebody who doesn't understand that it is a business.
Right.
And so what he did was he went against the mores of the group, which is to make money.
Right.
And so this started there, and it has evaded itself into, and it's been good for sports and for all these guys to stand up. And here you are, getting your pockets lined by the organizations, the communists,
the biggest oppressors,
the biggest people on the planet who are in charge of smattering freedoms of people.
Exactly.
And here you are getting your pockets lined by it. And so it's like you've put yourself into a box. You took a stand over here, and to keep making that same stand, you now are sitting there saying, how do we keep everybody happy in China? Because that's $5 billion.
That's right.
And there's another level to all this hypocrisy that we really have to look at, okay? Here's LeBron James, here's Colin Kaepernick, here's these guys who are talking about being oppressed in the United States. And they are making this political, okay? But here they are being paid hundreds of millions of dollars by Nike. Where does Nike's profits come from? Nike's profits, they manufacture those in Texas, right?
They wouldn't dare manufacture those in China, would they?
No, I think they do!
Surely not.
You mean they pay people 2 pennies to make a shoe?
No, they would never do that.
But they have the choice to work there, don't they?
Oh, yes, they do.
It's choice. So this is the hypocrisy of the whole thing. The NBA's uniforms are coming from Chinese manufacturers.
Say it isn't so.
Yes. And all the people that are on TV who are bitching about all this. When you put your Nikes on after you're off the camera, where do you think those effing came from, bro? So it doesn't matter what side of the aisle you're on here. This has to do with business. This has to do with money. And this goes back to what we just filmed last week, our Carlsberg beer, where we're talking about corporations. We're going to take stances. They're only taking a stance to try and build some good with the majority of people who are going to buy their product or not.
This was an attack.
This was
an attack against the flag. It's been an attack against Trump. It's been an attack against the United States, where they live. Where this is a country club.
Nobody in China has the opportunity to make $35 million a year. Not legally. You have to be part of the government and part of the inside schemes of everything to be able to do stuff like that. And here we are, sticking up for them and how great they are, and they're great. Well, you know, you've put yourself into this situation by teaming up with a political organization of the complete opposite values for the country that you play for and that you stand for. And let's be honest, half the people that are out there attacking Trump and saying all this stuff about him, they're doing that to try and pander to that other side as well.
Totally.
It's about the eyeballs, it's about the clicks, it's about how many views they're getting. And from a business perspective,
It's not about the product and it's not about the service, and that's why the organization exists.
Yeah, and I will say
this is a dumb PR move.
I would say probably one of the best sports right now that I at least follow or pay attention to that has kept out of all this is hockey. Hockey acknowledges that there's two countries. When we're here in Tampa and there's a Canadian team visiting, they play the U.S. national anthem, they play the Canadian anthem.
Yep.
Right? Everybody is singing even words to the Canadian anthem.
Exactly.
And we're here in sunny Florida.
Standing up and respecting the other countries.
Standing up, respecting the other countries, respecting the players, all that stuff. And they haven't kept it about politics. They don't keep it about anything else.
It's about the game.
They want to play the game. And that's all that they're there to do.
Yep.
And so I think that they've done a really good job of just kind of like, whatever. I also think that the players don't actually care.
I agree.
Because the players are just like, I want to go and I want to hit somebody.
This is about hockey.
This is about hockey. Like, what does that have to do here?
Yeah.
And I think that culture is what's missing from a lot of other sports.
Yep.
And that's honestly one of the reasons that I did shy away from football for a couple of years and start watching more hockey, is because I didn't have to hear an hour of pregame about Colin Kaepernick standing on the sidelines.
Well,
I got to hear about actual sports-related things before watching the game.
So it's who's going to kneel and who's going to stand.
Yeah.
And then the league comes out and says, well, you can stay in the locker room. Okay, well, that didn't do any good, because now it's like, oh, who's coming out of the locker room? And who it's like.
So when LeBron goes over there to become a professional basketball player, then he can talk about it.
Right.
That's the hypocrisy that gets created by all
I would
this.
just kind of like to just kind of summarize my thoughts on this. The United States is the best country club in the world. When you go to a country club, you have dues and you have benefits of being at that club.
Right.
And everybody in America has the benefits of living in America. Now, is it a perfect country club?
No.
No. Is it perfect management?
No.
No. Is it the tax system is atrocious, right? So every country club has its warts, but this is the best country club. And to now sit down and attack it publicly when you are sitting here benefiting from it is just crazy.
Yeah, and that's the thing, is like, you can say what you want to say on your own. I don't have a problem with that. But to me, if you're going to be a part of a group, and you're going to sit there and say, I am a Los Angeles Laker, you're doing things to help the group, and you're doing things to help the team.
You're part of that brand.
You're a part of that brand, and that brand is to go out and play basketball. If you want to take social media outside of being on the court and say, hey, I'm LeBron James, I'm Steve Kerr, these are my thoughts. But when you make it about your press conference, when you make it about everything that you're doing about the sport, I'm like, why do I want to watch you?
Exactly.
I try to get away from this, as you said at the beginning. Sports was a way for people to come together and not care about anything else. Right? And that is what sports is supposed to be about, is that similar thing. I'm a Packers fan and I'm next to a Giants fan, and we can sit there and be united by the fact that we have a game to watch together.
Well, but this is even more appropriate. I'm a Packers fan, you're a Packers fan, and you have one political registration, I have a different political registration. You have one car, I have a different car.
And we're all...
You know what? I've been to Lambeau Field, and you don't know. You don't care.
You don't care.
It doesn't matter.
It's -5 out, and the guy next to you is shirtless with Packers all over his thing, and you're like chest bumping him, and it doesn't matter.
It doesn't matter.
Yeah.
So in the business arena, it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
It really doesn't.
And that's what these sports and these organizations haven't understood, is that their job is to provide that experience to people.
It's entertainment.
It is entertainment, and they're not there for that reason. And
so how do we pull all this together here?
So I guess if we were to wrap all this up, I mean, we could probably talk a lot longer about it, because I have like 20 other examples that we could talk about. I mean, just for instance, we talked about Black Rifle Coffee Company earlier this year. Link in the description or whatever below, click somewhere. That is a group that knows that their product is aimed to a segment. They don't give an F if you don't like guns, if you don't like police organizations. It says on the bag, funds from this goes to help law enforcement families.
I mean, rifle is in the name of the company.
Yes, Black Rifle, right? Scary, right? But you see, they're targeted and they're towards those people who want to be a part of that. And you either buy the Black Rifle stuff, or if that's too scary, you buy your Starbucks, right? They don't care. But
that's their brand.
That's their brand, and I'm cool with that. I love that they don't care. That they're willing to stand up and say, this is what we believe in.
Yep.
If you don't like our videos, don't watch it.
Yep.
If you don't like swearing, don't watch it, right?
Yeah.
That's who they are. But you see, that's not what the NFL is about. The NFL is not about those same views.
Right.
They're there to be like, hey, we're a sports team, it's entertainment, you know. So I feel like if we really just wrapped it up from a business perspective, LeBron James is absolutely correct. Daryl Morey just destroyed billions of dollars of cash flow.
Yep.
From a business perspective, he's totally correct.
Yep.
But if you're going to be judged outside of business, which is what you have asked to be judged for, then you've been lying to everybody for a very long time. And that's that's what the NBA has been doing.
Yep.
That's what Nike sponsorship deals have been doing. Every time the NBA players put on their jersey and wear their shoe, I mean, let's be honest, it was most likely, again, people are going to freak out. Maybe Nike makes those things particularly in the United States or whatever, but either way, you're supporting an organization where 98% of its manufacturing is done by people who get paid 2 cents a day.
Yeah. Yep.
Whatever, right? Like I said, I also am wearing shoes that were probably made in Thailand. I know that.
Right.
But that's kind of where everything is in the United States right now. So
that's where it is.
What am I supposed to do about that? Make my own out of receipt paper? Plastic out of the ocean, you know?
Yeah.
Whatever. I mean, until other sustainable things are done, that's just kind of the way that it is. So I would say from a business perspective, LeBron is absolutely correct. But he's asked us to be judged. He's asked us to judge him differently in the past.
Yeah.
He has tried saying that it's not about money and it's not about these other things when clearly his own statements and actions would suggest otherwise.
Actually, from his actions 3 or 4 years ago, he completely painted himself into a corner now when the shoe is on the other foot and it's reversed.
And if you're going to sit there and take political stances for everything else, it's right for the right-wing media to stand up and because the left is all mad, like, oh, you shouldn't ask them for their opinion on this stuff when the roles were reversed. The right side was like, well, let's see what these people have to say because you know last month you tweeted X, Y, and Z out, so let's hear what you have to say about this. And then everybody's like, you know, I'm really not at liberty to say or educated enough about the situation. We just want to play basketball. Well, that's not what you said a month ago, right?
So you said 3 years ago.
Yeah, and so it is interesting. I don't know. I think that's kind of where we're at is from a business perspective.
It was a bit of a rant.
Yeah, a bit of a rant. But I think it's important to look at things not from a black and white thing. And that's important to look at in businesses. Like, what is the actual group's job or product that they're trying to give to people? Is it really about you and the entertainment factor that they give you? Or is it really about how much money they can make off of that?
And at the end of the day, what you say and what you do has consequences.
Yeah.
It's the bottom line.
And that's okay.
And you end up veering off the purpose of your product or your company.
So I think a lot of these sports have veered off.
Yep.
And, you know, we'll see where it goes from here. But I wanted to talk about it because I feel like it needed to be talked about.
I agree.
All right, well, we did go on for a while here. No idea.
Hope you enjoyed it.
Probably one person made it to all the way through.
But find out.
We'll see you next week.
You and I made it to the end.
I made it here.
I'm good.